What's going on, guys? It's Snoo603, and as always, I'm joined by fakethriller. And today we are going to do a follow-up review on the M416. And I have to say, I'm scratching my head on this one. I don't know about everyone else, but I'm definitely scratching my head on this one.
I never thought we would be doing a follow-up review on the M416. For those of you who don't know or haven't picked up on it, what we traditionally do is there's two different kinds of review, like follow-up reviews we do. One is just a follow-up review, and another is a post-patch review. This is kind of a little bit of both, but the difference is a follow-up review is, let's say we give a weapon a bad rating, and usually there's a lot of like controversy in the comments, people saying that we're not giving the weapon the right chance, yada yada yada. So if we just get like a few months later, we'll do a follow-up review, and the other one is a post-patch review, and that's where there's been in-game changes made to the weapon
that are significant changes that have greatly changed how the gun performed.
Yeah, main statistics have been altered. So, and now we're here to do first and foremost a post-patch review of the M416 and follow it up with some just basic discussion on the entire gun and its situation and stuff like that. So, Snoo, do you have the patch notes in front of you, what they did to this weapon?
I do. So, for the M416, they actually did a couple of things, and I'm going to bounce around because I don't have them in order. But, so far as recoil, the vertical, horizontal, and first shot recoil have all been reduced to make this weapon clearly different from the M16A3. I said N. I'm a dummy. That in of itself is what what's really got me scratching my head, because the M416 prior to this patch was actually still a really solid weapon. I think we gave it 4.5 out of 5 overall.
No, sir. We gave it a 5.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I thought for some reason you gave it a 4, because I know I gave it a 5.
No.
And the gun was fantastic. So, and I think for the most part, everyone agreed with us. Like, there was a lot of people that were like, oh, I've never really used that gun. But anyone that did use it, like, they're kind of right. That gun is, I mean, overall, pretty sexy. So, on top of the recoil, hang on, I gotta find it. Where is it? It's right there. I swear to God, I just saw it.
Right at the top.
There it is. Short reload time reduced. Pre-patch, it was 1.9 seconds if you had at least one bullet chambered, and they dropped it to 1.75 seconds.
So it's a 0.15 second decrease in the amount of time it takes to reload this weapon when you have a bullet chambered, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, but we're talking...
I mean, it was already sub 2,000 or 2 seconds. Like,
I was gonna say almost a 10% decrease in time.
Right. Anything less than 2 seconds is pretty fucking fast. I mean, that's really, really good for a reload time. So to make it even better than that, like,
it's silly when you look at the guy now in game when he reloads. It's like, right. It's like, what did you just do? Right. Are you a magician?
So, I love your movies. I don't get it. So, to go back to the patch notes, I mean, word for word, they wrote, vertical, horizontal, and first shot recoil have all been reduced to make this weapon clearly different from the M16A3. Let me fix that for you. It should read, the vertical, horizontal, and first shot recoil have all been reduced to make this weapon clearly better than the M16A3. Because, dude, this thing is so much better than what the M16A3 was. This is a gun that, now that I've used it, I will make the argument, this gun is damn near OP.
Oh,
it's a fucking laser beam. And look at this game. Like, I know there was a lot of it. I just got lucky situationally. But good lord, dude, I was winning almost all of my gunfights. I mean, I was out shooting everyone. This thing is easy mode on non-stop. Easy mode goes all the way to 11 on this. Everything else only goes to 10. It's insanity.
It is silly the way they did this. Now, the interesting thing is, I don't think anyone necessarily has a problem with the fact that this gun has been buffed. I think where the problem really comes in is how glaringly bad some of the other weapons are now compared to this weapon.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone, I mean, I'm sure there's always going to be people complaining, but I don't think anyone for the most part would really have too much of an issue if they just went through and buffed a lot of guns. If you remember before the first major patch, a lot of guns killed really quickly and had minimal recoil and stuff like that. And when they came in with that first patch, they really hit a lot of guns with the Nerf bat. And the problem is in this situation is you just buffed one already incredibly good gun in an attempt to compete with another really good gun, the M16A3, and I'm totally fine with that. like stop nerfing weapons to balance things. Just buff other things. That's my personal philosophy, because then you don't feel so hampered when you're playing in game. Like if everyone's using the same loadout and the same weapon or similar weapons that are all like really, really good, then it's not that big of a deal. But now you've got this glaring beast on top of... I mean, the assault rifles themselves are already the best weapons in the game, and now you've got the M416 that's literally teabagging every other weapon.
Yeah, it's just... It doesn't make any sense, because I wholeheartedly agree with you that to make the game more balanced, instead of nerfing the piss out of all these guns and just being stuck with a pile of shitty guns, why don't you buff some of the other guns and then make just a slight nerf? So everything's a little bit more on the same plane. Like, obviously you want to try and make them a little bit more unique, so there's there's an incentive and a reason to use different guns, and you can say, okay, well, yeah, the M16A3 and the M416 are kind of the same, but there's a distinct difference between this, and I happen to like this better over that, depending on what playstyle, faster fire rate or faster reload, things like that. I don't understand their reasoning behind this. I mean, like I said, like we both said, the M416 was already a really good gun. It did not need to be buffed whatsoever. It was fully capable of holding its own prior to this patch. So I just can't wrap my head around their reasoning why they felt they needed to buff it. Not just buff it. I mean, they made this gun like fucking...
It's almost like they were in a brainstorming meeting, like a meeting of the minds when it comes to multiplayer balance, and they took like shout outs from each person at a table, like, okay, like Kevin, how are you going to balance the game? Like Joe Schmo, how are you going to balance the game? And they wrote it down on the whiteboard as everybody said, like, well, listen, the M16 is dominating. It needs to be weakened. They're like, great, put that number 1 on the list. And then Joe Schmo's like, well, listen, the M416 could use a little bit of love to compete with the M16. And then the guy's like, great, that's a great idea too, and writes that as number 2 to do on the list. And then they just go ahead and do fucking both of them.
Right.
And it's like, dude, you're not paying attention to what you just did. You equaled it out, and then you unbalanced the playing field again. So it'll be interesting to see how the game and the landscape of the game really play out with this new weapon. I promise you're going to see people using it. It's absurdly good. There's no denying it. It's a 6 out of 5 now on the ratings.
It really is. This is the only gun that I feel 100% goes beyond our 5-star rating system in the moment. Like,
yeah, and I know Snoop mentioned before it's like borderline OP. Granted, it's not. I wouldn't say over. I mean, what the hell? I don't know. It's right on that line, and it depends on the situation. If you're in a bad mood and you're getting your shit pushed in, it's overpowered. If you want to use it and you want to stomp on some noobs, it's just a really good gun. Yeah.
Well, the reason why I say it's overpowered is because, and I don't understand it, but this is definitely another discussion that we're saving for later on in the week or the weekend. So many people said that the M4A1 and the M16 were overpowered. I don't think they were overpowered. That's just my opinion. I thought they were really good, but not overpowered. I didn't think there was anything overly special about it. I could have, like I said, there's a handful of guns in the game that I could have picked that could have outshot either one of those guns all day long.
I think a great way to think about it, and it's sort of similar to what we were saying before, is the M16A3 wasn't overpowered, and the M416 now isn't overpowered, but there are definitely other guns that are underpowered.
This is where I'm going with this. So, me personally, I don't think the M16 pre-patch was overpowered. However, a large chunk of the community felt that it and the M4A1 were. I know what they're like pre-patch, and they were really good guns. I will not deny just how effective they were. I think the M416 now, post-patch, is better than either the M16A3 or the M4A1 was pre-patch. So if everyone thought those guns were better, and without a shadow of a doubt, M416 is better than those were at their best, this is an overpowered gun. Going by that reasoning and everything, dude, I'm telling you, like, if the community was upset about those guns, this thing, it's insane how much better it is over the M16 and the M4. It's insane. It's like night and day difference. You will mow down people left and right. I'm telling you, this is going to be the new thing the community latches onto and just pisses and moans about it. Like, it's overpowered.
It's going to be that. And you know what the real bitch of it is here comes Premium Edition Battlefield. It's going to spark a lot of new Battlefield players or customers to pick up the game and start playing it. It is weapon number 2 available for the assault kit. So you're going to have noobs running around with this really good weapon, and they're going to be people that don't really pay attention to Battlefield. They're not going to go to the weapon stats websites, and they're not going to know all this different stuff. They're just going to know that the M416 works for them. So add another 15% of the population using the M416.
Right.
So it's going to be overused, and people are going to see a problem with it. But frankly, I mean, we're in this for, what, another 3 months before we see a patch, so deal with it.
Yeah, it's pretty much how it's going to go. So, you know, please don't take this the wrong way. I'm not trying to sound like a dick. It's just kind of like, you know, hindsight is 20/20. You guys, you know, people that are complaining about these weapons that you feel need to be patched and you're not happy with the balance of everything, this is what happens when you nitpick and you complain about little things that really, in the grand scheme of things, are not a problem. Now you end up with an even bigger imbalance in weapons. I have not played with the M16A3 or the M4A1 yet, to date, as of the time we're recording this commentary. I played a shit ton with the M416. I'm telling you, it is hands down the best gun in this game at any point since the release, excluding glitched, overpowered weapons like the USAS with frag rounds and the M26 Dart, crap like that. I mean, that's what happens. You complain about things that really don't need to be complained about. This is the end result. Hey, they take guns.
We're gonna wait. We're gonna talk about this at another time.
This is true. I know.
We're gonna talk about community. We have a commentary on the back burner right now. It's simmering when it comes to community interaction, what the community wants and what the community gets, and how the community reacts. And so look for that coming up in a few days. We're going to get some other people to sit in, maybe do a round table or
I was just thinking, ideally I'd like this to be a round table with, well, I don't want to spoil who the guests are. I know one person that's definitely going to be interested in it. I'm not entirely sure who the 4th, maybe even the 5th is. I think 5 might be a little crowded. But this has the potential to be like an hour-long round table, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I will shut up about it. But
So to wrap up this, the M416 good. Dice balance seems kind of silly, but we'll let it play out. We'll give it a few weeks, but yeah, go use this gun. It is insane. Get it in while you can before people start hating each other for using it, and have fun playing. Anything else?
I guess, well, we didn't really cover what we were using. Let's just cover that real quick, and then like an overall ranking, if you will.
Yeah.
Or you go ahead first.
Well, I was going to say, everyone knows that we prefer the standard one-time zoom, like red dot sights, either the Cobra sight or the Hollow or the,
correct.
You know, pick one of those. So that's what I would recommend on a tryhard class. But the recoil has been lowered on this so much that you can use a higher zoom scope and actually be relatively effective at range. So if you're playing on Karg Island or something like that, or Wake Island, you could probably do okay with a zoom scope. However, if you're being absolute tryhard, go with red dot sight.
Yep. And then I believe I was using underslung rail and the flash suppressor. I think you can get away with using the foregrip on this gun now. I felt like someone said that.
I think, well, the foregrip primarily reduces side-to-side recoil, which no recoil stat in this gun is an issue right now, so you don't need it.
No,
you
you're
don't
right.
need the foregrip, and it's not necessarily worth the negative aspects of the foregrip. So
this is true. I gotta say, I was doing just fine without it. Underslung, or leave it empty if you want, and then flash suppressor. I mean, oh my god, laser beam, just a laser beam. And myself, this is legitimately a 6 out of 5 gun. If anything, I think they need to, you know, readdress this.
Just put it back the way it was.
Yeah,
that's all they need to do.
That was the easiest thing in the world. Why couldn't I just say that? Because I'm retarded. Yeah, if they just bring this back to what it was originally, I would be fine with that because it was fucking perfect before. Again, from what I said at the beginning, I'm still scratching my head. Why did they buff this? This gun did not need a buff. It was, if there was a single gun I could pick that did not need a buff aside from the M16 and M4, it was the M416.
Yeah.
So.
And the SKS. That's OP as a motherfucker.
Beast.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, watching, and hope you share our sentiments. Let us know what you think of the M416 and whether you're going to use it or not in the comments below. And we'll see you guys in our next video or on our next live stream.
We'll catch you guys later.